Keep bowling. The pro shop will fix it? Okay. I had forgotten about this until recently and thought I would share. I think it fits in here. It isn't a huge thing, but it resulted in me getting something I wanted but couldn't afford and then winning money with it. When I was younger and through my early to mid-adult years, I was an avid bowler. 200 plus average back when that actually meant you were good. Before the bowling ball technology boom, which comes into play here. And I worked at the local bowling center from the time I was 16 though 21 or so, and then again later on in my early 20s, working the back, pin setters, front of the house, etc. So knew how things operated, what could go wrong, etc. I was bowling at a different center one day. The first frame, after each shot, my ball came back with a small nick out of it. Nothing major, but yeah. So I put that ball away and brought out an old ball that I never use but was in one of my bags. Next 2 or 3 shots, another nick each time. 0.4 th frame, it finally came back with a fairly large chunk taken out of it. Usually that means there is a nail or a screw that has worked its way loose and the ball is catching on it, or a piece of metal has broken near the ball lift and is cutting into it. I take the ball up to the counter and tell the manager and show him what had happened. Now, I was only 4 frames into the game and said I would move, and he said no. They couldn't move me as they had a party coming in and no lanes available. He said just keep bowling and the pro shop will repair the ball. I asked if he was sure. He said yup. He will go in and tell them to fix it and the center would pay for it. Most pro shops are individually owned and operated. The owner rents the space from the center. This was no exception. Now, having done simple pro shop work, I know for a fact there is no way it can be fixed if I keep bowling with it, and this keeps happening. One gouge can be repaired fairly easily as long as it is not in the track of the ball. The track is the contact point where your ball rolls down the lane, so anything in that line just can't be fixed and will throw off the ball as it rolls, since it can't be perfectly rounded back. Depending on the core of the ball and how you throw it, the track can be 3 to 4 inches wide as the ball flares going down the lane. But massive multiple gouges all over the place? Nope. So I keep bowling 2 or 3 games, knowing that I am getting a new bowling ball out of this. Of course the huge chunks keep coming out of the ball. I get finished and there probably isn't a 2-inch by 2-inch section of the ball that isn't damaged. I take the ball into the pro shop and the conversation goes, "Pro shop guy, what the hell happened to this ball? Did it get hung up in the pin setter or something?" Quote, "Me. The lane I was on damaged it each time I threw it. The manager said you would fix it." Pro shop guy, "Why did you keep bowling? I can't fix this." Me. "The manager told me to keep bowling after I showed him the first gouge." Pro shop guy then calls in the manager of the center. Pro shop guy, "I know you said he was bringing in a damaged ball. But did you tell him to keep bowling after you saw the damage?" Quote, center manager, "Yeah. We couldn't move him, so I told him to just bowl out his games and you would fix it." Pro shop guy, "I can't fix this. You are going to have to replace his ball." Manager, "What?" Bunch of arguing back and forth about why it can't be fixed. "The ball I have they don't carry," etc. Fine. Replace it with anything on the wall except for the Excalibur. The Excalibur was almost 50% more expensive than regular bowling balls. It was the first reactive resin ball on the market. Reactive resin is a compound that made the ball hook much more than a traditional urethane ball. It revolutionized the game and ruined it according to some, since it allowed average, below average bowlers to suddenly improve drastically due to not having to be anywhere near as accurate, and took a lot of the skill from the game. But I digress. Me. So I can pick any ball other than the Excalibur and you will pay for it. Drilling and all? Quote. Manger. Yes. Me. Okay. Thanks. Quote. Manager leaves. Me. Can I have store credit for that ball on the wall? But then apply it to the Excalibur and I will pay the difference. Pro shop guy. Sure. We can do that. And proceeds to measure my hand and drills the ball and I pay like $40 for what was then between a $150 to $200 ball that I could not have afforded at the time. Bowled my second ever 300 game with it less than a month later and won 2 center tournaments with it. And a bunch of high game pot money during league play. That ball paid for itself 10x over in the first 2 months. TLDR. Bowling lane damaging my old bowling ball. Manager says to keep bowling. Ball can't be fixed. Get a crazy awesome new ball for cheap as a result. Edit. This kind of blew up more than I thought it would. I was trying to reply to everyone. But it has gotten way more responses than I could have ever thought my stupid story about a bowling ball would have ever gotten, so I just can't keep up. Thanks to everyone who liked my small bit of MC and replied or messaged me. Some people are focusing on my comment about reactive resin and its impact on bowling. Here is a good article one found that includes an interview with the inventor of reactive resin and his thoughts. Not an ad. Just a website about bowling that was able to find an interview with him before he passed away. Interesting read. https www.11thayframe.com/news/article/12091/the-story-of-steve-cooper-the-reactive-resin. Revolution. Have fun and go bowling. Did you find out what exactly it was doing to the ball? I mean, what was doing it? Reactive resin also attracted more average bowlers to play in leagues. For a while, urethane was considered the early death knell. According to my 84-year-old teammate, balls were all rubber back then. The whole bowling alley would stink if someone got fit. Great story and nicely written. I've worked in 2 bowling centers and bowled in 4. Story checks out. Bowling balls. I go to estate sales and always get bowling balls for free or at $1. Usually with a bag and shoes. Most always a woman's ball, judging from the shoes and the size of the finger holes. I mount them on 1/2 copper pipes as garden balls. Our bowling center turned into a mini storage and we have to drive to the Indian casino if you want to bowl now. It revolutionized the game. And ruined it according to some, since it allowed average, below average bowlers to suddenly improve drastically due to not having to be anywhere near as accurate and took a lot of the skill from the game. But I digress. If you've got the time and energy, the folks over at our Hobby Drama would be very interested in hearing the rest of this story. Bruh. Imagine being so stubborn you actually lose revenue. Couldn't be me. Nice job. Edit. What's your most memorable moment? I hit a 7 to 10 split twice as a kid and it lives in my head rent-free. If I got into around 2006 to 2008, did I get to use the new style that made me better or the old style? I had 2 balls that hooked pretty well. Nice. This past winter, I got a ball in a have-a-ball league. I entered my first ever tourname BT 8 tap and won $160. So I feel your joy. Then my ex and I entered a Scottish doubles tournament and won $40. Thank you for clear and detailed explanation. I just learned a lot of cool stuff about bowling. And bowling that I never knew. I hate having to argue that the lane damaged my ball. One time my first game with a new ball, it got chipped in my track. Front counter tried to say they could see it was oily, dirty in the cracks. It didn't just happen. Aw man, I love this. I need to go bowling again. I took bowling as my kinesiology class for college and fell in love with it. Was actually saving for my own ball for a bit until I had to stop for wedding planning. I should pick that back up again soon as things get settled back out post-pandemic. I miss bowling. For years. Every Monday with my friends. Walter was a regular at Castro Valley Bowl in CA. He had a stroke a few years previous. And did his best to keep up the activity. And he taught me how to bowl in one night. I had the basics down. But he really put things in line. Went from a 140 AVG to 190 AVG overnight. Great story. Love bowling. Need to get back on the lanes. Played all through high school but never beat my top score of 179. Lost my hook since then. Need to get practicing. What would the ball style you recommend be for someone who throws frozen rope? As an avid bowler who has had his two favorite bowling balls destroyed on lanes. One by a screw dropping out the pin sweep in the middle of the lane and one drop a screw having found its way into the ball return. I absolutely love this story. Well done. Hey you, Swiftraven, you should consider making a post in our hobby drama about the new ball technology. That's pretty interesting and not common knowledge as far as I know. Hey. I was bowling around that time when the reactive resin balls came out. Went from a 165 to 170 AVG bowler to a 200 plus AVG with just the ball upgrade. Bowled a couple of perfect games too. As well as one infamous league game where I showed up late. So I didn't get to practice. Guttered the first ball. Picked up the spare. And bowled 11 strikes in a row for a 290. Not to brag or anything, but I just bowled my first 62 while playing a few weeks ago. Smirk. Seriously though, good haggling skills lol. You gamed the system and won. Sport Shot fixed the whole too easy aspect.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.